What's up, guys? NBA playoffs. We were getting smacked there early on. I was concerned that these guys are just not going to show up for these games at all. But we turned around yesterday. We swept all of our picks. They're on our Instagram if you want to go check it out, at Just How I Drew It Up. We post daily props on there if you want more insight and things like that. We also have reels that come out weekly. We're trying to get more long-term videos on here on the YouTube to really dive in deep. So let's get started today. First game, Pistons versus Knicks. Love Cade Cunningham. Love that he showed up in game two, really took off. Let's look at his PRA. It's 43.5, which I know seems pretty high, but he is the production for Detroit. We want to take that over. Likely to get another 30 bomb, especially at home. 10 or so rebounds in game two. His assists were a little low on that one, but the pick and roll for Detroit is very efficient, especially against this Knicks defense. Something about it is just working for them. Gives Cade a lot of opportunity to drive to the basket. That's what we love on him. A lot of opportunities to get to the line as the defense rotates. Another guy that we're looking at in that same scenario is Jalen Duren. Game one, he was a little slow. Game two, he picked up again. He's earning his minutes back, so we should see a lot of volume out of him today, especially at home, given a lot of better calls by the officiates. So we see, Jalen Brunson trying to get a lot of calls. He was really searching for things there late game in game two. Now that we're in Detroit, not going to see a lot of that out of him. But Jalen Duren, I like over 13.5 assists and rebounds, and I think that's plus odds right now. So, at your own risk, obviously, but we like the production out of him. I mean, rebounds, we're hoping he's getting 8, 9, 10. And then assists in that pick and roll. He should have a lot of opportunity, especially on drives, and then that kick out. Jalen Brunson, over 5.5 assists. So I kind of just mentioned right there, he was looking for the fouls. He's trying to create a lot of production, a lot of points just off of himself. So in this game, we should see Detroit adjust, try to lock him down for points. So hopefully looking for more playmaking opportunity, kicking the ball out, maybe pick and rolls on the Knicks of their own, him kicking down low and just passing that ball off, getting opportunity for his teammates. So Cade over 43.5 PRA, Jalen Brunson over 5.5 assists, and Jalen Duren over 13.5 assists and rebounds. Should be a really good game. Should be close. Both games have been good. They've been a little chippy. So, that's something to watch for here in game three, especially in Detroit. The physicality of this series is going to be pretty awesome. Maybe we see that game 6, game 7 here. Would be pretty fun. A game that we're not seeing a lot of physicality from, and something not tightly contested, is this OKC-Memphis series. OKC is just really kind of walking away with this one. Their bench production has been insane. Game one, up by 50 points. Shea's sitting. Most of the starters are sitting. And those bench players were able to maintain a lot of that and, secure that win. And really, they showed up in game two, securing a double-point victory. Love to see Memphis show up and just make this a better series just as a viewer. But as far as, our wallets go in these lines, we do like that they're playing consistent. Ja Morant under on his PRA. Love to take it today. Under 36.5. I think his average for the last 10 games is under 36.5. For the series, it's especially under 36.5. He only dropped 31 in game two, and that was a tick up from game one. So unless, the Grizzlies got it together and they're going to come out today and really show us who they are, love to see the under on that. He just hasn't been playing super well. The Grizzlies as a team, really not there. Their turnover rate is so high. Game one was insane, but even game two, it was 14 or 15 turnovers, and OKC has not been shy about capitalizing on those. They're getting a lot of points from that. And speaking of the transition, it's been pretty fast-paced, so we like to see a lot of opportunities for these guys. Jalen Williams, over 9.5 rebounds and assists. He's averaging 10 right now in the series. I know it's only 2 games, but you see that, he has the production. And playing from that wing spot, the Grizzlies just are not very good at defending it. So expect this guy to, get into the interior there. Maybe he has some kickouts, but he's definitely going to be playing low and finding his opportunity in there. I think it moved to 10.5 at, maybe plus 100 or plus 110 right now. But again, maybe there's a lot of value in that over 10.5. Just add it to the end of a 2 or 3 legger that you like. Just boost your odds there. Should be a good game for him. Should be a good game for OKC. Like I said, I'd love to see Memphis claw their way back into this somehow, just as a viewer, make it a good series. But as of right now, they're not playing well, so slam some unders on those guys. Game 3 today, we have Clippers versus Nuggets. Let's see what we got going on here. Zubac has been putting in his production. His lines are a little bit lower than his normal, like his regular season averages. So I'm cautious about, kind of touching what he has here. But he has been pretty consistent with points. We're upwards over 15. Rebounds are still over 10. I think his PR line was 22 and a half. So, or no, it can't be 22 and a half, 27 and a half. Yeah, it's a little bit higher. But not a terrible one to take. There's a lot of value in that, especially him going over. We also have Michael Porter Jr. possibly out for this game. So you should see some different lineups that the Nuggets probably aren't used to, or some different people on the floor at different times. And if they don't get those adjustments right, Zubac is going to have a lot of opportunity, especially with Jokic trying to manage all of the offense. So I will take him over 10.5 rebounds, though. He's proven that he can do that pretty well, usually getting 6 or 7 before half. So I would take that one for him. Norman Powell has seen a dip in points in these playoff games, but he was averaging 21 during the regular season. So I would like to take him, honestly, over 14.5. I feel it's pretty safe. I'm going to take him over 9.5 because that's what he's shown that he can do. It's a little bit safer, but wherever your heart lies with him, he's going to score. He's going to pick up, especially, again, with those rotations. If we have to adjust defensive schemes, we're taking over Kawhi. Kawhi had a freaking game last time. So we're going to have to adjust to him, maybe some double teams there. So a lot of these, secondary scorers and even bench players getting a lot of opportunities. So those are things to look for too. If I don't mention someone here, I don't think I mentioned our backup center for the Knicks. Who are we talking? Mitchell Robinson. There we go. We're talking about Mitchell Robinson. 4 rebounds, 5 rebounds, pretty solid lines. He's been hitting that as well. If it's a close game, he may not see a lot of time on the floor, but even in a limited time, he's been hitting rebounds. So keep an eye out for these guys. Dennis Schroeder in that game as well. He's been doing a lot of things that are good. OKC, if they come out to a big lead, looking for those bench guys to get a lot of opportunity, especially in points and assists. But continuing with the Clipper Nuggets here, Powell over 9.5, Zubac over 10.5 rebounds. I like Braun. There's a couple ways you could go with this guy. You could go just points, you could go just assists and rebounds. But I like his points and rebounds. So he had 6 and 4, I think, over the last 2 games as far as rebounds. Points are a little bit more dispersed. He had 11 in game 1 and I believe only 5 in game 2. But again, a lot of this is going to ride on Michael Porter Jr. either playing or not playing. Braun's going to see an uptick in minutes there. He's going to be in a lot of different rotations, maybe some heavier minutes. So I like him going over on points. And I think rebounds is just an added benefit. Again, if he's on the floor, he has that opportunity. So we see him get 5 and maybe 12, 14 points. That's already over that 16.5 PR. So a good one to go with him. Last one is I want to see Harden go under 8.5 assists. So I did take this one already. I took it at plus 110, and he's averaging 9. But again, if Michael Porter Jr. is out, I can see the Clippers kind of getting a good lead here. Maybe Harden doesn't play as long. We've seen what Kawhi can do now. They might run a lot more offense just through him, try to get him going again. If that does happen, I don't think Harden's production is going to be up there. So I took the under 8.5 assists on that one. I like the money value out of it. I know it can be risky, but like I said, he's averaging about 9. So if you want to take him over 6, over 5, over 7, I like those lines too. But just with what we're seeing as far as scheming and how these game 1s and game 2 have gone, I can see a lot of value out of this one. So we have the Pistons and Knicks. Run it back for you one more time. We have Cade over 43.5 PRA. Dude's a dog in Detroit. Let's see him go crazy. Jalen Brunson over 5.5 assists. Detroit has to figure out a way to stop his scoring. Going to give him a lot of opportunity to kick the ball out and make some different kind of plays for his team. Jalen Duren over 13.5 assists and rebounds. A lot of value there. The dynamic of this pick and roll for the Detroit offense should give him a lot of opportunity. Maybe a points and a rebounds line if you're feeling like that one. So OKC versus Memphis. Ja Morant under 36.5 PRA. He's been under it game 1 and game 2 pretty significantly. Unless Memphis decides to show up and really figure out what's going on with this OKC team, I just don't see it happening. Jalen Williams over 10.5 assists and rebounds. Again, another really big opportunity as far as matchup and defensive scheming. He's going to have a lot of opportunity to get into the interior here, and just, again, a lot of opportunity to get pass, kick, things like that. So see him really facilitate for the team. Clippers versus Nuggets. Norman Powell over 9.5 points. I like 14.5 as well. He just hasn't proven that in the playoffs. He can really handle that production, but his, like I said, regular season average 21.5. Braun over 16.5 points and rebounds. That's one I'm taking. Again, a lot of angles to play on this guy. Just watch the injury updates for Michael Porter Jr. Zubac over 10.5 rebounds. He's proven he can do it. Again, I think a lot of this rides on Michael Porter Jr. being out and the rotations that the Nuggets are going to take in this game. And then last one, Harden under 8.5 assists. Like I said, I already took that one. It was plus 100. I love the money value there. Clippers could take off at a pretty good lead, see some limited time for James Harden. I know he was wrapping his leg at the end of game 2 there. I didn't really do a deep dive into that. We should probably take a look. But Kawhi also just goes insane. So if we see them run everything through Kawhi Leonard today, I don't see Harden, going too crazy. He's only averaging 9 assists, lines at 8.5. So should be a pretty good day. Hope all this stuff works out. Hope the bets you put in run very well. If they don't, well, that's just how we drew it up. And I want to drop in a couple plugs here. Again, our Instagram, we're doing daily picks. We do have an AI that will be coming soon. It's our Sports Data Scout. It's how we get a lot of information. It does not make our picks for us. That's not how we run it. We just like to have a lot of sports analytics on this side and on this page. Another one is we are working on, making a lot of these things public for you guys. So hopefully get a lot more insight here, bet tracking and things like that, so we can show you guys where our units are actually lying. Our profit margins have been pretty good, especially with these NBA playoffs. We haven't hit a lot in these, but even still, we're doing pretty well. Baseball, big money maker on that one. I know we haven't posted a lot of props with that. If you guys do want those, go to our Instagram. You can DM us, things like that. And DM us, get in a Discord, ask us about specific games and things like that, so we can break it down for you guys and be really more of a community on here. We want to see everybody kind of get involved if you are into the sports betting realm, right? If you're just doing this casually, no worries. Look at our picks. Hopefully we can get you a thicker wallet over there. So thanks you guys for tuning in. Love the support. Keep it up. Have a great weekend.